Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Eerie Elementary. We're going to read the third book in the series, which is called Recess is a Jungle. As all the books are in the series, it is by Jack Chabert and illustrated by Sam Ricks. And again, we're going to do 3 chapters at a time. So the first chapter is called Into the Woods. So remember, we have our same 3 characters here, Sam, Antonio, and Lucy. Power shot, Sam Graves shouted as he kicked the soccer ball across the playground. It was recess. Sam and his best friends, Antonio and Lucy, were passing a ball back and forth. Antonio stopped the soccer ball with his foot just before it rolled beneath the swing set. He kicked it back to Sam. Pass to me, Lucy shouted. Sam kicked the ball to Lucy and then raced ahead. Mr. Nakobe, the old man who took care of Eerie Elementary, was raking leaves nearby. Sam waved at him as he darted past. It was Mr. Nakobe who chose Sam to be the school's hall monitor. It was Mr. Nakobe who showed Sam what Eerie Elementary really was, a living, breathing thing that fed on students. The school was alive, and Sam Graves, the hall monitor, was now the protector of the school. Just a month ago, the school stage had tried to swallow Lucy and Antonio during the school play. Then, only days later, Sam and Antonio rescued Lucy after she was swallowed by her locker. Lucy and Antonio now knew the terrible truth about Eerie Elementary, and Mr. Nakobe had made them assistant hall monitors so they could help Sam keep the other students safe. Sam's thoughts were interrupted by the squawk of a crow. Big black crows sat on the roof of the school. They usually gave Sam the willies, but not today. Sam ignored the birds and raced forward. Sam, incoming, Lucy called out. The soccer ball soared through the air. Sam caught the ball with his foot and kicked it around the corner of the school. Eerie Elementary looked like a castle made of crumbling red bricks. The playground equipment was old and worn. Sam dribbled the soccer ball around the huge wooden jungle gym. The jungle gym was full of tire swings and rope ladders and poles. It had a climbing net and a bright red slide, too. Sam was coming to the edge of the playground where the soccer goal sat. A rusty fence surrounded the school. It stood just beyond the goal, covered in vines. Take the shot, Sam, Lucy shouted. Sam drew back his foot. He stared at the goal, then he kicked the ball with everything he had. The ball soared through the air. It missed the goal. It missed the goal by a lot. It bounced off the fence and rolled to a stop. The soccer ball rested against a huge knotted tree root that pushed up part of the fence. The ball was at the edge of a small wooded area beside the school. You can see where it landed right there. Sam sighed. I'm so bad at soccer. Lucy and Antonio caught up to Sam. Antonio slapped Sam on his back. I'm sorry, buddy, but it's true. Soccer is just not your sport. Phew! A high-pitched whistle pierced the air. Sam's teacher, Miss Grinker, stood at the school steps. Recess is over, she called. Everyone inside now. Antonio tugged Sam's sleeve. Your turn to get the ball, buddy, he said, pointing. Remember that orange sash he has that says hall monitor on it? Sam felt a chill rush down his spine. As hall monitor, Sam could sometimes feel things that other students couldn't, and he felt something now, something bad. A moment later, the soccer ball began to roll. It moved entirely on its own. Sam, Antonio, and Lucy held their breath. They were stunned. Very slowly, the soccer ball rolled through the twisted hole in the fence and into the dark woods. You can see, there it goes. Chapter 2 is called After It. Sam couldn't believe what he had just seen. The ball was resting against the tree root, thought Sam, and then it just started rolling on its own. Miss Grinker was hurrying the rest of the class into the school. Beside her was Mr. Nakobe. The old man caught Sam's eye. He gave Sam a slight nod. Sam knew what that meant. Mr. Nakobe wanted Sam to go into the woods after the ball. I'll get the ball, Lucy said. I'm sure there's a reason it started to roll. Maybe there's a little hill we can't see. Well, there's a reason, all right, Antonio exclaimed. Orson Eerie is the reason. And there's Orson Eerie. Do you remember him? We met him in his picture in the second book. Sam and his friends had learned that a mad scientist named Orson Eerie built Eerie Elementary more than 100 years ago, but Orson Eerie found a way to live forever. He became the school. Orson Eerie was Eerie Elementary. Come on, guys, Antonio said. Forget about the ball. Lucy wanted to go into the woods. Antonio didn't. The final choice was Sam's. Time was ticking. Sam looked back. Mr. Nakobe was talking to Miss Grinker. He was distracting her for them. Perfect. Okay, guys, Sam said. We're going after that ball. Lucy grinned. Antonio groaned. But together the friends walked toward the fence. Pine trees towered over them. They climbed through the twisted fence. Cool air rushed over them, and they left the sunlight behind and entered the darkness of the woods. But what if Orson Eerie made the ball move? Antonio asked. We're leaving school grounds, Sam said. Orson Eerie has no power beyond this fence. We have nothing to worry about. But as soon as Sam finished his sentence, a thick fog came from deep within the woods. In moments, it seemed to swallow them. Sam couldn't see 2 feet from his face. He couldn't even see his friends. Sam heard Lucy's voice, but it sounded like she was miles away. He squinted. All he could see was thick gray fog. All Sam could hear was swirling wind. Guys, where are you? Sam cried out. Antonio, Lucy! Sam called again and again, but there was no response. His friends were gone. Chapter 3 is called Swamp Thing. Sam couldn't see a thing through the fog. He had no idea where the soccer ball was, and even worse, he had no idea where his friends were. He cupped his hands around his mouth and yelled as loud as he could, Lucy, Antonio, where are you? Sam nearly tripped. The tree roots on the ground were uneven. It felt like they were trying to grab hold of him. Help, Sam! Sam heard someone calling his name. It sounded like Lucy. He pushed his way through the fog and followed the sound of her voice. Lucy kept crying out like she was in danger. At last, Sam stumbled out of the fog. He could see again, but he couldn't believe his eyes. There was a large swamp in front of him. Tree roots poked through the water. Dead branches floated on the surface. A swamp! How could there be a swamp this close to school? Sam thought. It's like I'm in a wild jungle from a movie. Sam had never seen a swamp before in real life, and he knew there wasn't supposed to be one in these woods. Sam and Lucy had studied the school grounds in library books and in Orson Erie's school blueprints. There wasn't a swamp anywhere in the town of Eerie. Sam! Antonio! Help! Hurry! Lucy shouted again. Sam spotted Lucy on the far side of the swamp. One of the floating branches had grabbed Lucy's backpack. Lucy was trying to wrestle free, but she couldn't. The branch was dragging her into the dark swamp. She quickly grabbed hold of a thick log bobbing on the water. Hang on, Sam shouted. I'm coming. Sam's heart was pounding. I need to get across the swamp to help Lucy, he thought, but if I step into the muddy water, I'll be pulled under too. Suddenly, Sam felt something cold brush against his shoulder. Hey! He shrieked. Sam leapt back, thinking it was a snake, but it was just a long vine. Sam had an idea. He grabbed hold of the vine and gripped it tight. He eyed the monstrous swamp ahead of him. Sam gulped. He couldn't believe what he was about to do. There he is with his vine. Oh, that's the end of chapter 3. We'll read 4, 5, and 6 in the next recording.